Jack had always been the adventurous one. Charlie was more cautious, but he'd follow Jack into anything. That's what led them here, 2 months into a backpacking trip across South America, now hiking deep into the Amazon on a path not marked on any map. A guide had warned them, if you leave the river, you leave scents behind. But Jack had smiled that crooked grin, the one that always seemed to win arguments and get them both into trouble. I just want to see the raw world, he'd said. Raw was right. The jungle wasn't a place. It was a presence, something alive, vast, and uncaring. They'd planned a 5-day hike off the grid. They'd brought enough to last a week, including a satellite beacon that now blinked red, useless, stuck in a cycle of failed transmissions. After 10 days, Jack stopped mentioning finding the river again. After 2 weeks, Charlie stopped asking what day it was. Have you noticed, Jack said one evening, how the days are getting shorter? Charlie looked up. We're near the equator. They shouldn't change that much. But they had. Sunrise came later. Sunset came earlier. At first by minutes, then by hours, then some days. The sky never brightened at all, just a weak, gray glow through the canopy, as if the sun had been extinguished. And the green? God, the green never ended. It wrapped around them like a snake. Trees they swore they passed already. A stone with markings they'd carved days ago, but somehow weathered, faded, as if time had passed faster here. Then came the drums. The sound started faint, a rhythm buried in the night. It wasn't mechanical or natural. It had intent. Maybe tribes, Jack said. Uncontacted people. Charlie shook his head. Then why don't we ever see them? Just hear them? They found signs. Freshly stripped bark. Bone totems hanging from vines. A clearing with a fire still smoldering, but no people. Sometimes they saw shapes in the distance, tall figures just standing there in the mist, watching. When they called out, the figures vanished like smoke. Worse, Charlie realized they hadn't eaten in days. They hadn't felt hunger, either. Do you remember the last time we actually ate something? He asked Jack. Jack opened the pack. It still had food inside, sealed, untouched. I don't even feel hungry, Jack said, sounding confused. You? Charlie shook his head slowly. I feel hollow, but not hungry. They tried to eat. They threw it up. Then came the girl. She appeared on the 37th day, or what they guessed was day 37. She wore a white dress, clean, unspoiled, and didn't speak. She pointed. They followed. Through thick roots and unnatural fog, deeper into the part of the forest where even the birds stopped calling. The trees grew tighter together, forming shapes that looked like bones. And once God helped them, Charlie saw a massive root pulse like a vein. The girl led them to a village. But it wasn't old or primitive. It looked frozen. Thatched huts covered in vines, fires burning in place but not giving off heat. People stood silently in groups, motionless like wax figures, eyes wide, faces frozen mid-expression. None blinked. The girl stepped into the village. The people turned to look at her. Then they looked at Jack and Charlie. All at once, Charlie screamed. They ran, back into the jungle. But it had changed. Paths looped. The sun, if it could still be called that, glowed from different parts of the sky at different times. Moss grew upward. Insects flew backwards. Jack began to mutter to himself, his skin pale and drawn, eyes hollow. One morning he said, I think I saw my dad last night. Your dad died 10 years ago, Charlie replied. I know. But he talked to me. Told me to go north. He said we're not lost. Charlie wanted to argue, but couldn't. Time stopped making sense. Their beards never grew. Their bodies didn't weaken, despite the lack of food. And the jungle It never let up. No rivers, no skis. Just the green, the drums, and the ever-fading light. They came across other people, or what seemed like people. A woman in rags who clawed at her own eyes. A man tied to a tree, whispering in a language neither of them understood, but the words stayed in their minds, repeating. A child whose mouth was sewn shut, handing them a compass that spun wildly. Each encounter left them colder. Each step deeper made their memories fade. Memories of home, of other places, of before. One night, Jack simply stopped. "I think we're in a place that isn't mapped," he said. "Not just in the jungle, but outside. Everything." Charlie stared. "Like a pocket? Like a trap?" They reached a clearing. The center had a stone monolith black, ancient, humming faintly. The girl in white stood beside it again. This time, she smiled. Jack approached. Charlie screamed. "Don't!" Jack touched the stone. Everything went dark. When Charlie opened his eyes, they were back at the spot they camped on day one. Their gear was clean. Their bodies looked fine. A bird chirped in the tree above. Jack sat next to him. "It let us go," he said. Charlie checked his watch. It was the day they left the river. But something was wrong. The sun hung motionless in the sky. Their packs were still full. And the food inside, still sealed? Charlie looked at Jack. "Have we eaten at all?" Jack slowly turned. "I don't think we ever did." They sat in silence. The jungle, once alive with sound, now hummed with something else. Something ancient. The green surrounded them again, but this time, somehow even denser.